one of our reasons for being in the RIBS project and as lead partner was to basically learn and share from basically areas of Europe that were similar in terms of geography and population size. So cover quite a large area, but quite a small population.
Well, I come from a very small organization, the West Iceland Regional Development. So we are only like 7 people working there in a very small region of only about 15,000 people. And we saw this as an excellent opportunity to get in contact, to learn from what people in Scotland and in Sweden and Finland and Ireland have been doing. So I think this is just to broaden our horizon and see what can be done in the bigger world.
In very beginning, we like to get some concrete results, like some products which we can use in daily work with the SMEs.
Well, the expectations, I'm a researcher, so the expectations was, of course, to learn something new.
Well, I think it was a very interesting project in the way that it was several regions. I knew a bit about a few of them, and I mean, Iceland, Ireland, northern Sweden and northern Finland, we have all had the same sort of problem during the last couple of years. People are moving out, and we need the businesses to grow stronger.
There's 3 key messages that we've taken out of one is infrastructure. Even though it can be difficult and there's a lot of controversy around spending large amounts of capital investment in infrastructure, it does pay dividends in the end in terms of broadband provision, roads, rail, air links, does make a difference to help grow a sort of vibrant economy. And that's been seen by visiting some of our counterparts in Finland, Sweden, Iceland, especially in terms of their the provision of quite high-speed broadband in that area, which has encouraged a lot of high-tech IT companies to either start there or to relocate there. One of the other key aspects that we noticed is the provision of a university and the impact that can have on a region, even that's quite diverse in terms of the fact that it's quite spread out. Obviously, we've got the UHI, which is quite a fledgling university, but it's been doing some really good things. We've sort of taken lessons learned from looking at Finland and especially Sweden, who's been the academic partner, the impact they've had on driving the economy with their links to business and also encouraging spin-offs from that university. I visited the Arctic Business Incubator in Sweden, and 50% of their intake are students from the local university wanting to create their own business. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen overnight in the Highlands and Islands, but with the new campus development, I can envisage in 10, 15 years' time that students will be coming out not just wanting to get a job, actually wanting to create their own company, and hopefully we'll have the right environment to be able to support that. And finally, the third thing is basically concentrate on the things that you're good at and what your natural environment is. So looking at the Highlands, we're really pushing on wave and tidal technology because we've got the environment around there. We're obviously promoting our strengths in terms of tourism and food and drink, and obviously life sciences is something else that we've, since the onset of Johnson & Johnson, to try and develop more clusters around that, and also down in Oban in terms of the marine science. Looking at, say, for example, Sweden, which does a lot of work now on data centres, so they're trying to do a node around there. Finland, a lot of technology, IT software companies, a lot of tourism and fisheries clusters being developed in Iceland, and Ireland doing some really good things in terms of attracting inward investment in, but creating the right conditions. So it's really, don't try and be good at absolutely everything. Look what the positives of your region are, and then try and sort of exacerbate them to actually make you an attractive proposition in terms of a global context.
We share similarities in the challenges in the situation. Also, actually, since all of us actually are members of the European Union, also in the solutions. So we found very little regional differences and a lot of similarities across regions. And this also implies that when we would like to initiate measures to overcome some challenges, we can collaborate. I think, for example, in the tourism industry, it's we know that tourists coming from overseas, they are not visiting normally a specific region, not even a specific country. They want to visit a lot of different countries to get another kind of experience. But the collaboration across borders is very limited, and I think we have a great potential to develop more attractive products through collaboration in the future.
Having access to a network and through a project like the RIPS is extremely important for us. Like my main purpose, or our main purpose, was to develop the concept of rural clusters. The clusters of companies, sometimes linked to called triple helix, when like government, local governments and the small universities or knowledge centers work with the companies, but it can also just be the companies themselves. We have been trying this in West Iceland for some years before the RIPS project, but with, well, not always being very successful in that. So this was kind of what we wanted to learn more about. How do you work with rural clusters when you actually have very weak local governments, when you have weak or no or very small universities or knowledge centers, and when you have very thin company base, because then like all the actors there are either absent or rather weak. So how can you actually get the benefits that you're supposed to get from the clustering? And we thought that it might be interesting to see what other regions with sparsely populated areas have been doing. And actually the regions involved here are contain some of the most sparsely populated areas in Europe. So this was a very nice opportunity for us to do that.
We have got a very good idea how the supporting mechanisms are working in different countries, and we maybe can adapt some of those mechanisms to Finland. But I have remarked that those SMEs which are good in competitions, they are knowledge-based companies. They have a high knowledge from their own product or own service. So they need also the talent people, and that is same kind of problem also on the rural area, except in the regional centers like in city of Oulu or in Aberdeen or in Inverness or in Iceland, the Galway area. You can get people there, but when you go over 100 miles away from the regional center, then it will be difficult to get skills and talent people to there.
What we have learned is maybe to be a bit relaxed about the formal attributes of clusters, and just like if there is a group of companies who wants to work together, let's just do that and not think about how the cluster should work according to the theory, but what can be done. We have actually managed to develop a concept we call a microcluster, which is a concept we developed within the RIPS and is specially designed for very sparsely populated areas where we focus very narrowly with a very small group of firms, only like a handful, 5, 6, 7, and we follow them very intensively with consultation and like a program with them. So by doing it this way, we kind of counterbalance the disadvantages of these very sparsely populated areas. We work with a small number of firms. We we take in the local governments when needed. We don't wait for them to come. We just tell them like where to come and what to do. And we do the same with the knowledge centers and universities. So we kind of construct the pattern or the construct the relationship in a bit more intensified consultation than you would expect in like the ideal clusters. But this seems to work. We've been doing a pilot cluster in Iceland, a micro cluster, and in our region now for the last 9 months or so within the project, and this is doing well. This is working very well.
I think Iceland has learned us other regions a lot, which is applicable to parts of our regions in Sweden, in Scotland, Ireland, so forth. The first area that I think should be developed further, for example, in this constellation, would actually be the tourism area. I think our regions have a great potential in due to global warming, due to an aging population with a good economy that are looking for different kinds of experiences. And we could offer these kinds of new target groups, visitors, very unique experiences by collaboration. That is one area. I think also, since we represent quite sparsely populated areas of our countries, we have also been confronted to find new solutions in elderly care, for example. So taking care of our elderly people by using, for example, distance spanning technologies is a feature of many of our regions. We could develop this even more, and especially packaging it as export products or services. I mean, that's a great potential for further development.
Well, we have developed, like our partners in Scotland, we have developed a lot of supports over the years, and we have modelled those supports so as to have the maximum benefit in terms of either the creation of employment, capital investment within companies, etc. It's very important to interconnect with people, because when you live in relative isolation, your perception of your own disadvantage is strong, whereas we actually have a lot of advantages, and we have got a lot of similarities with other regions. Their problems are our problems, and our problems are their problems. So in the context of the European Union, it's all very good to have that type of interregional cooperation and the sharing of knowledge, because knowledge is power. We already have people, for instance, from our area that are working in the construction sector in Stockholm, and I would hope that we'd have a greater sharing of higher skills than just being involved in the construction sector.
Well, that's much of the sort of problems we have are very similar. Due to a low population density, it could be hard to get employees that have a certain qualification for doing certain sorts of jobs. So in many of the regions, we have had some successful businesses starting up, but after a certain while, they start to move out just because they need it in order to grow. And this is unfortunate, because then we still have the region with people moving out. I think that in the project it has been important to see what can we do in order to keep these companies still in the same region. And I see that we have very similar situations in all these regions when it comes to this issue. Well, we have, for instance, the business compass, which I think is a tool to communicate and diagnose small and medium-sized enterprises. I think it's a product that could be used by organizations that actually would like to help businesses grow stronger. It's a way of trying to do an inventory of the important business dimensions that business need to develop in order to grow or become stronger in exports, for instance. I think that could actually be a very important tool for the future, and I've heard several organizations that really like to use it already now. So we hope to further develop it and to put it to a strong test now.
We've been taking this very much more as a research project and trying to gauge our thinking so that we know that moving forward any new programs we develop and also utilising the tools we do it in the right way. So I would say absolutely a success from an HIE point of view in terms of the information that we've gained, the people that we've spoken to, the businesses that we've spoken to, and in terms of what we've done with the information so far. But I think it's, even though this is the final conference and it's sort of technically the end of the programme, I think you'll only see the benefits of the programme in the next sort of 18 months when we can try and put some of the products and thinking into place, not just in terms of ribs, but in terms of overall, because basically rural information is what we do. Everything's rural. So therefore we've been taking the thinking and the data that we receive from ribs and we've actually been utilising it to develop our whole range of new programmes.
I think for us that ribs has reinforced our thoughts that it's so important that we keep on working with the rural businesses and innovation systems that we have. It reinforces that we are on the right track and that we are doing similar responses to the challenges that business have in the different regions, and also that we have come up with some new ways of handling the challenges of helping small and medium-sized enterprises.
It has been a powerful vehicle for us to find out some things that were not very surprising, but some that has opened up our eyes for further initiatives, and that's very important, I think.